So the Bitcoin ETF gets approved, prices increase for a couple of days, but then start dropping. So where's the market headed now? And is it Bitcoin or some specific altcoins that are first going to pump in the next days and weeks? We're going to deep dive and analyze Glassnode's Market Sentiment Report for the answer. Welcome to the channel. Happy Monday. My name is Maddie. This is Altcoin Buzz. Best of luck, as always, if you choose to invest. I just ask you to remember and to consider that I'm not a financial or investment advisor. And of course, that means this video, therefore, is not official financial or investment advice. So, the 11 Bitcoin ETFs are now approved, but the price of Bitcoin just seems to be dropping. In fact, it's been dropping ever since the approval. From a local peak on January 11th of $48,462 to its current price, as I record, of $42,627, we've seen a pretty big drop. And BTC was down even further, just below $40,000, of course. So the delta there was 20% since that high on January 11th. And that's post-ETF approval, which, after all, was an event that the market saw as a huge positive move for Bitcoin and really the entirety of crypto. So why the drop? What's that all about? For reasons beyond the scope of this video, Grayscale and its GBTC are one of the big reasons. Grayscale is a big seller in the market. They sold over $500 million in Bitcoin on both January 23rd and January 24th alone. And according to Look On Chain, that equals over 15,000 BTC and respectively 13,000 BTC in just 2 days. And they've been selling since the approval, as now Grayscale holders can get their money out and buy one of the other ETFs and have better liquidity. And more importantly, these metrics are much higher than the 900 new BTC created each day with the mining of new blocks. So the new ETFs are absorbing the new 900 BTC per day and all of this Grayscale selling of BTC. And so naturally, there is a little selling pressure for this reason. That's one of them, at least. Market cap dominance is another factor that we have to analyze here because it helps us see if we're in a Bitcoin season, an altcoin season, or just generally a tough bear market season. And thanks to this chart from our friends at Glassnode, we can see that Bitcoin dominance has been growing. Even with the recent price correction, this is no big surprise. It's been in the headlines, of course. ETF speculation was pretty big. And going back a little bit further, since the collapse of FTX in November of 2022, Bitcoin's dominance is up from 38.9% to 49.8%. That's almost 11 full percent. Ethereum, on the other hand, stayed almost exactly in the same place during that same period, down actually just slightly from 18.9% to 18.2%. So their position in the market hasn't changed much. By definition, that means that Bitcoin's 11% gain is altcoin's 11% loss. It's an almost near equal loss of 6% in stablecoins and then the remaining 5% in the altcoin market. And you got to remember that stablecoin market value declines are common in bull markets because people are putting their stables to work by buying the projects that they like. So that's bullish. Altcoins, however, are slower to catch up. But that's also typical, right? Bitcoin rises first, and then you have the Ethereums, the large caps, the mid caps, and then it cascades down into the rest of the altcoins. The altcoins always follow Bitcoin's lead. Now, following the Bitcoin ETF approval, Ethereum sentiment is improving. The net realized profit is how profitable sellers are when they sell. It's been on the increase actually since early October and even hit a one-year high after ETF approval. Short-term holders' net unrealized profits are on the increase too. They're actually at the highest point right now since November of 2021. And if you were in this space, you probably remember that that was more or less the peak of the bull market. So that means that short-term ETH holders have been out of the money for quite a while, but conditions are now improving for everybody that has Ether bags. And then lastly, when it comes to ETH sentiment, we should also consider open interest. This is a function of how many are buying futures or perpetual contracts on BTC or ETH. Bitcoin's is declining slightly, but ETH's is actually increasing slightly. And so this implies that people are willing to speculate more on ETH than on Bitcoin. Or the risk return ratio is considered better for ETH, at least at the moment. So ETH sentiment is getting better and Bitcoin sentiment is positive due to the ETF approval. Okay, what about altcoins? Solana is a recent outlier outperforming both BTC and ETH. Most of the others that outperformed both are much smaller projects that do carry other risks. Solana is really the only big project that, again, has beaten both Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of recent performance. In Q4, the major alt categories of staking, gaming, scaling solutions, and DeFi, believe it or not, all of these lost ground to Bitcoin since September, despite many of these sectors doing a little better than Bitcoin in the first 3 quarters of 2023. Slightly better for most of the year, but then slightly behind in Q4 of 2023. Scaling solutions did the best against Bitcoin in 2023, but the Arbitrum coin launch played a big part in that. And so the Bitcoin price correction means that these 4 groups are gaining slightly against Bitcoin ever since the ETF approval. ETH is definitely outperforming the alts right now. It looks like it will be a big winner post-ETF, just as Bitcoin will be once the ETFs absorb all that grayscale BTC and the halving takes place. Don't forget that's coming up pretty quickly in April. So look, be selective with your altcoins right now as always. And again, as always, pick quality projects. If you like what you have, then hold or consider buying more if prices come down. But always focus on quality so that you're going to be okay for the entirety of your holding duration. And again, I'd like to thank our friends over at Glassnode. They have a lot of this market research that they provide for free. You can peruse this stuff at your leisure if it's of interest to you. I'll link to the full Glassnode Market Sentiment Report below and check it out. If you're involved at all in this space in crypto, this is worth a read. It's great information. It's worth your time to absorb it. So once again, I'll include that in the description below. Altcoin Buzz Alpha is proud to say that we now have a winning portfolio spread among different sectors. And additionally, we're also very well positioned to get into good IDOs. And if you're into passive income and airdrops, just check out the number that we've received until now. Add to that the original TIA airdrop and all the others that are upcoming. We've achieved this by giving several deeply researched and diversified calls. Just check out some of these numbers from December 2023, last month. And right now, the plan moving forward is to reallocate profits to low caps, to diversify into new segments, to keep getting bigger and better airdrops, to catch the latest trends like Bitcoin and Linea inscriptions, and to dollar cost average during market flushes. We just recently introduced a yearly subscription to Patreon, and you can take advantage of that because if you subscribe to that yearly plan for a limited time, you get 1 month's membership completely free. Check us out by clicking on the link in the description of this video and the pinned comment below.